Okay, so I've been watching the Fallout show on Prime, and the entire time that I've been watching, I can only really think of one thing, okay? I could totally do this. You know that feeling when you're watching an Olympic sport on the TV and you're like, "No, it's not that hard looking at it. I could probably do that." Well, that's kind of how I feel about surviving a post apocalyptic nuclear fallout. Every time I see someone die on the show, it's like, well, I think I would have survived that. They make it seem so hard and cutthroat, but honestly, it kind of seems like a good time. Traveling, eating, killing, stealing. Like I know technically it's a post-apocalyptic world, right? But honestly, it doesn't seem that bad. Okay? Like I know, you know, obviously, something can kill you at any time, You could starve, there's radiation, but that's like part of the thrill, that's part of the rush. All right, so admittedly, this has become somewhat of a fantasy for me over the past couple weeks while I've been watching the show. It's a pipe dream. Like, that's never going to happen. I saw something a couple weeks ago that it made me change my mind, change my tune a little bit. Now, I want you to know that we can pretty much bet on anything anymore, okay? Like, if it can happen, you can bet on it. Politics, the Oscars, sports, natural disasters, just normal thing, like anything you can think of, people will bet on. I could probably bet on if you're taking a shit right now on Kalshi or Polymarket, and, I might take that bet. Anyway, point is that a few weeks ago, I saw the bet on Polymarket that a nuke could be dropped by 2027, and that was a bet that was out there, that if a nuke would be dropped by that time. And it's like, if one nuke drops, then multiple nukes are probably dropping. And if multiple nukes are dropping, then that's probably the end. It's the nuclear fallout. Of course, people were outraged about this, profiting off potential lost lives. How could a gambling company, sorry, prediction market, be so cruel? So they took it down, which they're cowards for, by the way. A bunch of roaches, bunch of rad roaches ruining my profit for everyone. It's just the end of the world. Like, live a little. There was potential there. If they kept it up, I feel like it was free money to bet on no. If the nuke drops, it's like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You're not going to have a use for that money anyway. And if it doesn't drop, well, then you won. Maybe it's time to start collecting caps. Okay, anyway, the point is that I want to start getting prepared for the possibility. You can never be too careful, and well, if it's going to happen, you want to be prepared, and you want to have something to fall back on, right? So I figured now was the perfect time to get a head start on that and start the organization, start my own Fallout post-apocalyptic organization. And you're all invited. Something that can thrive in this hellish world. So the first thing I want to do is establish a name, okay? I was thinking something like the Empire. Uh, that might be a little too evil. You want people to join, and like you want it to sound intimidating, but that might be a little bit too evil. It has to be intimidating, not threatening. You want people to join this organization, and I'm not sure that's what would get it done. Okay. Hear me out. What about Nance's Goon Club? Uh, no. No. Fucking gooners have ruined the word goon forever. Can't use that either. I don't know. Name's TBD. Okay? I'll think of one. You guys just get joining. You know, the problem is surviving the actual fallout, I guess. There's not really a great way to prepare, but I'll give you a couple of my ideas since you're watching, and I want, if you're watching, I'm assuming that you're going to join my organization. If you're joining my organization, well, then it's like, of course I want you to survive. Not that I want anyone to die, but like if someone has to live, I want it to be you, of course. The obvious answer is a bunker, which not everyone's going to have access to. That might be out of the question for most of you. You really won't have much warning when it's coming. Like, it could happen. Yeah, in the show, it just kind of, you just saw them drop. The life's not a TV show, I guess, but you got to prepare somehow. I'd say getting to a basement or some sort of shelter would probably be the best idea. And, if you think the possibilities are rising, maybe get started on the bunker stuff now. Honestly, I really don't know how effective this will be. I guess the only real advice that I have for you is you have to get lucky, which isn't a problem for me. I've always been a pretty lucky person. So I know that I'll survive, but wanting you guys to survive, you just have to you gotta get a little lucky, okay? Start collecting some 4-leaf clovers or something right now. Start collecting horseshoes, I don't know. Okie dokie. Point made. If you feel like joining, the first thing I want you to do is subscribe. No, really, that's probably the only way that I'll know that you're, for the cause. If you're wondering how I'll actually know when that happens, I guess I'm not really sure either. Maybe we'll go with a code word, okay? The code word to join my organization right now is Fracascia. That's also up for change. We'll see if I stick with that. I should also probably clarify that I'm not rooting for the end of the world, okay? I'm not rooting for the end of the world. I'm a good person. I'm a good leader with good morals. So commit to joining me now and secure yourself for your potential post-apocalyptic future. If you join me, we can rule the wasteland together.